Okay, so you're probably not going to believe what I'm saying here, but the reality is I love inflation. I don't like the effect it's having on some people. But when you set up your life properly and you do the things that set you in a position to take advantage of inflationary markets when they come, protect you and hedge you against the bottom of the market, protect and hedge against deflation as well. But the reality is, when you look at why we have such rampant inflation, there's really some simple ways to protect against it. So the reality is, at the end of the day, we have inflation because of some things that have happened. COVID was part of it, right? We had supply chain issues. We have scarcity. Anytime you have those things, you see things go up in cost, right? They cost more. It takes longer to get them. That scarcity leads people to want it more, even though they maybe don't need it, right? But we've got some other things that have been 20 years in the making coming back to us from 2008 and the Great Recession there that was caused by a financial meltdown that was caused by banking. And so we wound up with a supply and demand problem starting way back there. And we've been keeping up with it. We've been working toward it. But at that time, we were about 9 million housing units short at the bottom of the Great Recession. We've not caught up. In fact, Fannie Mae said the other day that we still are 4 million housing units short, right? We had COVID. We had the Great Resignation. Get used to it, ladies and gentlemen. We're also in the middle of the silver tsunami. That means that we have more people retiring, more people in history. The baby boomers are getting to be 65. They're leaving the workforce. There's a lot of people leaving the workforce because they've realized that with dual incomes comes more taxes because our tax system is a progressive tax system. Things are getting more expensive for them. They're paying additional taxes. They're paying additional high costs in daycare. They're choosing to stay home. And we've got people of 65 plus retiring at this point. So we have a lot of things going on that's causing inflation. But why would you love it? Why would you like it? I mean, it's cool that we got minimum wage from $7.75 to $17 an hour in a year, right? Because of scarcity. But why would you love it? Why would you love $4 gas? Why would you love chicken going up? Why would you love all of everything that you live in your life getting more expensive? Well, there's two things in my life that over the last year and a half have not gotten more expensive. One is lending, okay? And two is rents, right? So I have set myself up in a situation where I have borrowed long-term money and I have got people involved in renting the property that I borrowed the long-term money on from me, right? So here's the beautiful thing about where we're at in the world today is that right now inflation is outpacing lending, okay? So the reality is this, that the numbers that we're seeing is that inflation is going up by 8%. Now, anybody that believes that they're only going up by 8%, I got some, some swampland in Arizona. I've got a couple of bridges for you in North Dakota. I've got some really great stuff here that you would really like. Oceanfront property in Oklahoma, because it's a heck of a lot higher than 8%. But the lending rate is at 5%, okay? We have increased it from 2.5 to 5 over the last couple of weeks. It's gotten kind of nutty. But anytime you can borrow money cheaper than it's going down in value, which is what inflation does, you're in a winning situation. All you need to do is borrow that money, put it into something that will appreciate and create cash flow, i.e. pay its own bills, and you've got a winning situation like you've never seen before. So let's just take, for example, that you buy a house and you're paying 5% interest on that house. But what that means is that somebody's going to participate with you in a market that their money is losing 8%. So your tenant's money is losing 8%. Your money is locked in from the bank at 5%. So they're going to loan you the money at 5%. You've got an opportunity cost of 3%. Guys, are you seeing this? Now you're going to do that for 3 or 4 years in a row. 8 plus 8 plus 8. Now you're at 24%. Now for every dollar that you borrowed, you're paying back 75 cents because your payment is fixed, and it's projected that what you borrowed in yesterday's money will be paid back in tomorrow's money with tomorrow's rents. You see why I love inflation, right? It's hard on the bottom 50%. That's true. That's mostly due to policies that are made in Washington. Not a lot to do with our economy, because free markets don't do what our economy's done. And let's just be honest. The reason we're having such a horrible problem right now with inflation is because a couple of guys in Washington decided it was a great idea to print $9 trillion. That ain't right. So here you have a very simple life hack. Buy something that will not lose value, borrow as much money as you can on it, and pay back that money with rents that are appreciating or things of that nature, right? You can do that with cars. You can do that with airplanes. You can do that with houses, mobile homes. You can do that with just about anything you choose to, as long as there's a market for it. So if you're able to go out and buy a $100,000 house, put $20,000 down, right? You're able to get an $80,000 mortgage at 5%. That is a good deal when things are inflating by 8%, and you're locked in for the next 30 years at 5%. Now, we both know that rates and rents aren't totally tied together, but they're tied together because we know that the more that rates go up, the more rents will go up, because it will make the renters pool larger, and it will contribute to additional scarcity, which we already have a huge problem with, which will drive down occupancies. So guys, don't hate the player, hate the game, right? If you don't like inflation, figure out how to change your position in the market to get to a place where inflation benefits you, it doesn't punish you. Because at the end of the day, your dollar may not buy the same amount of chicken as it used to be able to buy, or the same amount of gas as it used to be able to buy, or the same car as it used to be able to buy. But what are you doing with your dollar today to invest it in something that will stay on pace with the dollar's devaluation? What I mean by that is, if you're buying a house today, it's not that your $100,000 house is going to be worth $500,000 in the future. It's that the dollar is going to be worth 20 cents or 20% of its original value, thereby needing 500,000 of them to buy the same house. And when you've made that investment, you're now cashing out. You've stayed on par. You've had somebody else pay the bills for that loan the whole time. And hopefully that thing is appreciated a little bit faster than inflation. So when you're taking it out at $500,000 and down in the future, maybe you can buy chicken for a little bit less than you could buy it for in dollars today with what you have left. Guys, that's my tip for today. I hope you can understand why I love inflation and why inflation can be a good thing when you're positioned correctly. We'll talk to you guys soon.